Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. Miami Heat, they lose to the Philadelphia 76ers, 98-91. I want to be reasonable about this because what is this lineup we're throwing out here? You know, you have a game where no Jimmy, no Jovic, no Tyler, no Kevin Love. Don't finish the game with Duncan Robinson. You're playing lineups that have Patty Mills, DeLon Wright, Thomas Bryant, who actually continues to play pretty well. You got to give it up to TB. He's been doing decent. I'm putting this from where he was to where it is. I know there's things to be desired, but you know he had a couple of sequences there that kept Miami in it. But you had to know, like, if this was going to rev up for anything, Miami Heat erasing a 17-point deficit in this game. Just the turdiest of turd quarters. Just a real poop show where Miami couldn't put up any points in the third. They get off to this terrible start out of the gate in the second half of this one. So they have to claw their way out of it, and they do. You know, they show a valiant effort. Caleb Martin played like an absolute demon today. He was all over the place, loose balls, steals, throwing his body all over the place. This guy has to be the most sore guy on the Miami Heat after every single game with how much he's just flinging his body all over the place. But alas, those cheeks. Number 7, who also was diving all over, is literally diving into the scorer's table. He hit a monster 3 in the fourth quarter, wide open to put them up 4. And then somehow the Sixers got a couple of tough buckets on Bam. One was Kelly Oubre. I still don't know how he was able to score that. And then you had this huge play by Caleb Martin where he goes circus shot over Kyle Lowry. They challenge it, but he misses the free throw. So that was a little bit brutal. And then Kyle Lowry comes back and is able to just somehow get between Bam and the rim and put the Philadelphia 76ers up 6. And that was pretty much all she wrote. I mean, my biggest complaint there in the fourth quarter was just the idea that I don't think Bam got the ball enough. Bam was having a tremendous game and finished this one with 20-11. 2 more from downtown for Bam, who just continues to light it up and has added this new 3-point shot to his repertoire. But I just felt like nobody was looking for him. Nobody was giving him the damn ball. And I don't know if that just comes with Terry Rozier was feeling it because he was having a great fourth quarter. Jaime really struggled today. Oof. Jaime Jaquez, you know, the rookie wall has been brutal to him. It feels almost in some spots like it's gone back to Christmas between the injury. You know, he did have that performance, what was it, against the Kings pretty recently, but, you know, he just – it does feel very much like, you know, league is adjusting a little bit to his footwork and his game, that polished game that he has in the paint. His three-point shot has come back a little bit, but he had a great look today in this game that would have brought Miami – I think that would have brought it to within 1, and he bricked it. So that was tough. And then Kelly Oubre forced a really bad turnover for Jaime where, yeah, Caleb stole it back. Jaime was there for the 3. He misses it. Would have brought Miami to within 1, but they weren't able to get this. So right now Miami sits in the standings. They find themselves still 8th. This is a big one, obviously, because they drop back in the loss column to Philadelphia. Still a chance to take the tiebreaker. You get them in your building later on. So you still sit there at 8th. There is still some time now. What do we got? 14 games left in this puppy. You got 9 at home, 5 on the road. You got a big one with Cleveland coming up to wrap this puppy up. Hopefully, Jimmy Butler is going to be able to go. I was hoping that he was going to go today. They put him as questionable, and then you weren't able to have Jimmy Buckets for this one. And it's like when you're – it's just tough to evaluate this stuff, man, because you're coming down to the wire with these games, and you're going to have a bunch at home, which is going to be great. But – you know, you get a couple of wins and you have a struggling Sixers team. You're right there at the end. You're just hopeful. Those are the games that Eric Spoelstra loves to get the execution. And I felt like the hustle plays were there from Caleb Martin. The energy and the effort were there. It's just the shot making. This is such putrid offense that we're seeing from this team with, you know, strangers basically on the court right now. Like Patty Mills doesn't have any time with these guys. DeLon Wright is now back thrust into playing time after he's been a ghost and we haven't seen anything from him. Haywood Highsmith, same thing. Now he's back into the fold. So, yeah, you like to think that all these guys stay ready and that they're good to go, but that's just not reality. And a lot of these guys aren't offensive guys first anyway. The scoring is just very, very dried up. And it felt like today, if it wasn't Terry or Bam, you really weren't getting anything. Duncan really struggled and then goes out with a back injury in this one, which was pretty brutal because you know how important he is. He's arguably the Heat's third best player. And they did, first of all, a really good job on him today with all of their defense and trying to really rough him up. These referees let a lot of things go. I mean, I could just go on and on and on about how these referees were just like allowing a massacre out there with some of the things they were letting go. And oh my God, just facing Kyle Lowry is just, I didn't like it when he was in Toronto, and you appreciate the annoyances that he can cause with being in the right spots to take charges, the stripping of the basketball, the little tactics that he goes with. But when they're on the other end of it, it is insanely frustrating. And I think probably the one that was the roughest that Spo just absolutely lost his mind on. Caleb Martin's out on the break. He's ready to get easy bucket, and Kyle Lowry completely swipes him. No call. Spo's losing his absolute mind on the officials. And, like, what can you do? That's Kyle Lowry. That's what he's able to do. But him hitting that three today and just burying you was just... that was pain. The only thing I'm gonna go to bed tonight weeping, thinking about that Kyle Lowry three, and then I'll try and comfort myself by looking at the montage of Bam's last 3-4 games where he's just hitting a bunch from downtown. That's the only comfort I can have tonight. The Heat will wrap up this road trip against the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up on Wednesday. Big time game coming up, but they lose tonight in a tough one to the Philadelphia 76ers. Full-fledged Kyle Lowry revenge game.